Welcome to the Honda Budget Build-Off presented by Continental Tire, where today I'm going to tell you the story of how I managed to buy a Type R for just $3,500 US. Right off the top, allow me to thank Continental Tire, who are sponsoring this entire build-off series, and we are, of course, since these cars are going to go to the racetrack, using their new Extreme Contact Force tire. This is a 200 tread wear tire that's really designed specifically for the racetrack. They've teamed up with Hoosier on this tire, so a lot of the engineering, including the compound, is done by Hoosier, but there's also lots of Continental engineering in these, and we know from previous experience that they work very, very well at the racetrack, but they do have enough tread pattern and siping on here that you can run them on the street. They are DOT legal, so you can certainly run these on the street, and they are very durable. But ultimately, if you're wanting a durable track tire, we think this is the way to go. And as you can see, I've gone with a 205 50-15, so I'm keeping it OG size-wise. And that's also because Pete is also keeping it OG. So we're gonna be on the exact same size and spec tire, which is gonna mean that the track battle at the end of this, which determines the winner of this build-off, isn't gonna have an advantage one way or the other on their tire size or tire spec. So thank you again, Continental Tire. As for the build-off, the way the rules are gonna work here is we have set a $15,000 US budget cap. And for every $1,000 you go over that cap, you're gonna take a half-second lap time penalty. So if you do go over budget, you are gonna get punished. We're not gonna reward anyone for staying under budget because 15K is a pretty tight budget these days with inflation and how much cars are costing and how much parts are costing. So we think that's gonna be tough for us to stay below that, but if one of us blows over budget, probably me for reasons you'll learn shortly, I will be hit with a penalty on lap times. So that's how that's going to work as far as the build-off goes. And I should mention that Pete has also bought a car. It's been tucked away on the shelf back there. So we are both geared up and ready to go to battle here. So without further ado, let me explain to you the story of how I came into possession of this 1998 Acura Integra Type R. Yes, it is a real Type R. And yes, I really did get it for $3,500 US, or since we're in Canada, $4,500 Canadian. And the reasons for that, well, we've got video of me picking up the car with Pete. He didn't even know what the car was. I sort of sprung it on him as a surprise. So why don't we just cut to that video now, and that will tell you some of the story. All right, Peter, the surprise is over. I think you know what's going on now.
Man, you outdid yourself here, DP.
Woo. It's good to have friends in the Honda world.
Type R.
Man, I told you it was the greatest Honda ever made.
Yeah, and this thing is for $4,500.
Well, here's the thing. You're looking at the good side right now.
What's that?
You're looking at the good side right now. So there's a bit of a story here.
I knew there was going to be a catch to this.
Bit of a story, yes.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah, there was a little body work to do, you know.
Holy.
But hey, it's mechanically sound.
Yeah, you know what? Like
it runs and drives. It's got a motor in it.
A proper side swipe. This is gonna certainly need some work, a new door, a fender, but I'm looking at the wheel. It doesn't look thrashed. So yeah, man. I mean, I think I'm with you on this. I think this is a pretty good buy.
What we're doing is we're saving a legend, Peter. We're saving a legend.
Yeah, right on. Like, yeah, I definitely think this is gonna be a good buy. There's an engine hoist in the back. Is there a motor in here or
what? Well, this car belonged to a very good friend of mine, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to do any more engine swaps. So you want to take the engine lift with the car?
A lift with it.
So we don't turn down free tools around here. So
woo!
She is high mileage.
Oh, this is like your typical de facto Type R valve cover that's like falling apart.
But it's all original, man. It's numbers matching Type R goodness.
Yeah, this looks good. Well, it's not going to be numbers matching when we're done with it, that's for sure. Fender's got to go and door, but still, man, I think this is a good start. I don't see any crazy rot or anything, so sweet. I'm pumped for this. Well, let's get this thing loaded on the trailer and get back to the shop so I can have a better look at it. What you didn't see was me getting out of this car when we loaded it in the trailer, but now you're going to see me get in, and I either go in Dukes of Hazzard style, which is the more graceful way, or I try to fit through this PT size opening here. So, well, doesn't the door being dented in like that probably helps you though, no?
It does maybe help, but I'm going in Dukes of Hazzard here.
All right.
There's no graceful way to do this.
Don't pull a groin or something.
Yeah, it's always an option.
All right. Don't get those Type R seats dirty with your shoes, man.
Too late.
Oh.
Woo! All right.
All right, let's see how this thing runs. Fire it up again.
Here you go.
Oh yeah. Yes. You know, when you're looking at it from the backside, it kind of just looks perfect, DP, and then you see this glaring side here, yeah.
What I've done.
Holy. Wowzers.
But it runs and drives.
Yes, it does.
Can't say that about some projects around here. And really, I think all in all, it's not going to be the worst fix in the world, is it? Like.
No, I think any decent body shop can take care of it. I mean, as long as we can source a door and the fender I think we'll be good to go, yeah.
The bumper, I think, just needs to be repainted.
Yep.
The bracket under there, that probably needs to be tweaked or replaced. Really, it's this that's, you know, the part that's going to require more work. But all in all, I'm super stoked to be saving a Type R. As some of you guys know, I had an 01 Type R, so always regretted selling that car. So when my buddy Hanif offered this to me at $4,500, it was just too good to say no to. And it is high mileage. It's got 270,000 kilometers on it.
Woo.
So it's not a collectible Type R, but I just feel like it's a nice thing to save this car, and they're so pure. These are like the last of the analog, truly analog driver's cars. And I know it's front wheel drive, so some of you guys will be like, it's not a driver's car. Believe me, this thing is a true pure driver's car. It is a front wheel drive version of like an FRS, or, you know, pick your favorite rear wheel drive sports car. It is magical. It's so good. But today our plan is to get it ready to go off to the body shop. And initially we thought, you know what, maybe we're just going to get away with like a new fender, a new door, which we've already sourced. But the more we looked at it, you know, the rear quarter damage is pretty bad, and the bumper's bad, the hood's not in great shape either. So I think we've come to the conclusion that we're actually going to get this car completely resprayed on the outside only. It's not going to be like an engine out, you know, interior out respray, but just a nice clean paint job all over, because this is a nice enough car and a valuable enough car, I think, that it deserves to be treated to a, you know, proper full repaint. So here it is. This is a legit Type R door, which we got pretty lucky to find locally for only $200. So to find this, a legit Type R door for a couple $100 was a real bargain, and it was Pete's online skills again that found this. Although I went and picked it up in a super sketchy part of the GTA, so I'm not 100% sure the history of this door, but it is what it is. The front fender, we looked for a legit Type R front fender, could not find one anywhere. You can buy an aftermarket one for like $150, which is probably what we're going to end up having to do. Kind of bumps me out that it won't be an original Type R fender, but whatever. This is a high mileage car. It's never going to be a museum piece, so I won't stress out about it. And the bonus is that we're saving money on that. The big wild card on this respray is this rear quarter panel, because if they can't pull it, then they've got to cut it, buy a new section, weld it in, and it turns into a bigger, more expensive job at that point. So the body shop that we're going to be working with are actually coming here to meet me in a couple of days to take a look at everything, give me a quote, and if we agree on a price, they're going to take the car away. So hopefully that all works out. All right, we are here at FH Pro Collision in Brampton, Ontario, and this is our longtime friend, Richie. Man, we've known each other a long time now, probably what, 15, maybe close to 20 years?
Close to 20.
But this was a project we thought was perfect for you, given that your passion for these cars and the fact that you are the shop manager here and the painter.
And the painter, yes.
So the car's been here a little bit, and obviously you've done all the prep work. So it's very close to being ready for paint now?
Yeah, it's pretty much ready. Just got to finish masking it,
right?
And paint it.
So this was obviously the area where the most of the damage was done, since we're replacing the door.
So we had to set it up on the frame machine.
Yeah.
Give it a nice pull, and we spent a lot of time doing some metal finishing.
Okay.
On it. So there's not a lot of body filler because we don't like using body filler.
Right.
So we actually spent a lot of time doing the metal finishing because we didn't want it to change the quarter.
Right.
Because we wanted to keep the car original. So we still have the original spot welds.
Yep.
You know, it's really nice to see that original seam sealer.
Yes.
So the car is still very original.
Yeah, that's great.
Right?
Yeah, we talked about it when you came to pick the car up, and we really wanted to avoid cutting this out if we could. So thanks for taking the time to do that. I know it's a big job.
Oh yeah, it's no problem. And plus, by not changing the quarters, we could have kept the original sticker inside the door.
Yeah.
If we did change it, we'd have to change the stickers too. which is hard to get.
Yeah, and don't panic everyone, we are going to cover those stickers with tape.
Tape, yes.
So they will not get painted over.
Yeah.
We're not making that rookie mistake. This is not his first rodeo here, so.
I know.
The front fender too, we bought in Indianapolis when Pete went down to PRI, we thought it was an original fender, and then you got it and you're like, it's an aftermarket fender.
Yeah.
But it worked out okay?
Yeah, it worked out good. We did a little bit of extra work to make sure it fits properly, but it worked out good.
Yeah.
It's just insane that you can't get fenders anymore. It's just,
I know.
So what kind of world do we live in where it's hard to get
It's the hoarders, it's the Dylans of the world that are hoarding all these parts.
Of course, yeah, that's
Stop
true.
hoarding fenders, everyone. Sell them when we need them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was really the biggest part of the job, wasn't it?
It was a big part, but I mean, it wasn't too hard for us. It was a little bit time consuming, but considering the type of work we do, we do a lot of heavy collision. So this was actually an easy one.
You know you're dealing with the right painter when he has a collection of guns like this. Richie is a collector of these things, and he was just telling me these Iwata guns are the ones that he uses for clear coat, and they're actually designed by Pininfarina, which is really cool. Apparently they're designed to look like a Ferrari. I'm not sure it looks like a Ferrari, but he's got 3 of them just because 3 is better than 1. And for the base coat, he uses, not this guy over, oh, where did he put the fancy billet one? Oh, here it is. This is the latest and greatest. Like a billet body, what's it called, a De Vilbis? And this apparently is the magical gun for the base or the color coat. And man, it feels good. It's all like billet body. These are pricey guns too. These are like $1,500 a pop. This one's probably more. So when you're choosing a painter, everyone, find somebody who's this nerdy about the profession and you know you're gonna get a good paint job. We are back at FH Pro Collision to pick up the Integra, and man, this thing looks incredible. This is Fatty, everyone. He is the owner of FH Pro. You started this business 22 years ago?
22 years ago.
So he knows a little bit about cars and how to repair them. The finish of this paint without being polished is kind of what blew me and Pete away the most, because we're used to seeing cars that look like this after they've had a lot of polishing, but this is how it came out of the booth.
This is how
you
it
had to
came
like
out.
touch a couple of spots up with a bit of wet sanding, and that was it, right?
There's about 4 spots.
Four spots.
He counted them. That's how big he is. And he marked them before he came out.
That is the sign of a perfectionist. A lot
The
of
moldings, the
moldings have
wipers.
been refreshed, the wipers.
Why give a customer half job or 3/4 of the job done when you could do it all?
Wow, man, this looks like a brand new car again. Thank you again, Richie, and everyone at FH Pro Collision. The car looks amazing, and you guys are now sitting there thinking, there's no way anyone could buy a Type R, even a lightly crashed one, for $3,500 US, and that is certainly true now. There's no way that's happening today. Just jump on Bring a Trailer and you'll see the crazy prices for these cars now. But keep in mind, I bought this car pre-COVID, and even early enough that Type R prices weren't really skyrocketing yet. They were certainly starting to creep up. But I bought this car from a friend who I've known for probably 20 years now. We raced together for a long time. We ran a Honda club locally, and he got sideswiped in a double roundabout by a little old lady in a red Ford Ranger. And it took him about a year to get paid out by insurance. He had to fight with insurance because they offered him like $3,000 for it initially. He fought, he got paid out a much higher sum and was allowed to keep the car. So his plan was to fix it up. It wasn't, it was all just cosmetic damage. He literally probably would have just hammered it out and kept driving it because it was drivable. And then the car sat for a couple of years because he got busy, he has a busy career, his wife got pregnant, they had a baby, and the car just kept sitting, and eventually he realized he wasn't gonna get around to fixing it. It just wasn't gonna happen. So he started texting me saying, hey Dave, do you want this car for $7,000 Canadian? And at the time I was like, that's tempting, but I'm spending all this money on Connie and other things are going on. So I was like, thanks, but no thanks. And then he came back and said, how about $5,000? And then I, of course, being the cheap bastard that I am, said, how about $4,500? He agreed. And at that point, I had no choice but to buy this. So that's when I picked up the truck and trailer, dragged Pete out, who didn't know about it, and we went and picked it up. So that is the full backstory on the car. I fully understand that you probably don't believe me, but this is a true story. That is how much I paid for this car. Now it seems absurd, and I feel a bit bad that I stole it from a friend, but he knows too that that was the value of it at the time, and he got paid well by insurance, so he did just fine on everybody. And man, I cannot wait to get started with bolting up parts to it. As you saw, there's some work to do under the hood to make it pretty again, but I've blown through a considerable amount of my budget already though, even with the steel that I got on this. So $3,500 US, and then the paint job, which would be say 10,000 Canadian or 7,000 US dollars. That would take me up over 10 grand already. However, I did make a bit of a wheeler dealer move here. I'm playing the budget game already, everybody, and I have managed to talk Richie down on the price by 2,500 bucks in exchange for me giving him some driving lessons at the racetrack and helping him set up one of his EFs as a race car, which is already halfway through the budget, but I think you guys will agree that's a heck of a start, and I feel pretty good about it. I haven't cheated, but man, the stars aligned for me in an incredible way. So thank you, Lord VTech, for putting what is truly one of my legit dream cars in my hands here with what is an incredible paint job, better than factory fresh. So wow, I'm off to a good start here, PT. You're gonna have a hard time beating this, but I look forward to seeing what you bring out in the next episode. So stay tuned for that, because it is actually a really cool story too, with a really interesting piece of history to it, and kind of an unexpected find as well. So yeah guys, this build off is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm super pumped on it. Honda guys, here we go. Start hoarding, boys.